evening, everybody, and welcome to another round of the F1 2019 ILR Season 6 for the PC Championship. And today we are taken to the Sochi Autodrome, 19 corners, 2 DRS zones, connecting the start of the start of the lap to turn 2 and then turn 11 to turn 14, as we have also the combination of turns 14, 15 all the way up to 17 to keep the drivers on their toes, as well as the track limits, which of course are very easy to not respect on this 5.8 kilometer circuit. Plenty of speed as well through the very long straights and the iconic turn number 3. Let's see what the guys can do today, as of course, at least in the game, the rain does show up from time to time. Let's see if the drivers are prepared for that. In terms of the tires, we have the C4s as the softs, the mediums as the C3s, and the hards marked in white as the C2. Let's see what the drivers are going to be using today, as of course the inters and the full wet tires are also available to them. Moving to the standings, we have Shadow still leading the championship, as Kruzix jumps to P2, 104 points behind. Lehman occupies P3 as the best of the Williams drivers, as Plexitz comes in P4 and Andy Nater closes the top 5. After that, we have Infamous, the best of the reserve drivers in this league so far. Iceman in P7, J. Cole in P8 with 71 points, followed by followed by Curly and JSR completing the top 10. Moving to the constructors standings, we have the Renault F1 team leading with 348 points, almost double of the points scored by P2, the Red Bull Racing team, who follows 6 points ahead of the Woking-based McLaren team. After that, we have Alfa Romeo in P4, followed by a tie between the Silverstone and Groove-based teams of Racing Point and Williams, followed by Mercedes with 72, 11 points ahead of Haas, as then both Italian brands of Ferrari and the Toro Rosso occupy the remaining 2 places on the grid. So we can get ourselves started with the qualifying session for this Russian Grand Prix, and after a short absence due to, mostly illness, we have Jess back with us in the commentator booth. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be back. It's been an age since I've been in this commentary box, but Russia is a track not for the faint-hearted. It's sometimes not a fan favourite in real life, but there's some corners where you could see some interesting battles and strategic moves. So looking forward to seeing what the drivers will be facing with today.
Yeah, it is quite the track in terms especially of the behavior of the car, because the track doesn't provide much grip. The surface of the track isn't too grippy, so as the drivers try to get slowed down for setups to maximize the speed on the straights, I do believe it's going to be tough for them to navigate through sometimes very tricky corners of this 5.8 kilometer layout. In the meantime, we have a few drivers already started with their laps, Jess.
Yes, we've got Curly that's going on a lap now, as well as the other racing point. I nearly called the other racing point Force India. That shows how long I've been out of the commentary box for. But yes, I Curly, as he negotiates well, it's a circuit I don't know the turn corners, so I'm going to use a track map quite a lot today. But he's using all the ERS power at the moment. He goes to the left-hand side just a little bit, and it's a long straight coming up here, and it's a DRS straight, and that is obviously where we'll see a lot of overtaking today. So as Curly sticks to the right-hand side a bit, then he goes to the left-hand side, then to the right again, and then another left king. Oh, he almost saved that a little bit there. Thank goodness he managed to keep it on the track and just started set to 3. Looking good so far from Curly. He's been having some good qualifying performances recently. He's just passed the pit entry there. Still goes on to 4th gear, down to 3rd, and then onto the start finish straight, and he sets the first lap time of a 1:31.6 racebook.
Yeah, the teammate is not even a tenth behind, so very equal pace between both racing points, as I believe next up is Black Panther with a spin, and he's actually going sideways into the pit lane there. I'm not sure, there was some kind of misunderstanding with one of the Williams, who is just starting his lap. Ray gets the best time on board so far with a 1:30.9. We have a few drivers. Copper Carrot on the mediums, the only driver on the medium so far, has a very bad lap, a 1:35.5. Entity is beaten by Kaiba Shimi by exactly 3/10 of a second, so very close stuff. Cryptic gets himself on the board, splitting the Haas. Ace of Spades also beats Entity. But yeah, Cryptic is a driver that is making his debut today, and so far, at least he's in the top 10. Most drivers haven't done their laps yet, but at least top 10 for him, as we have Kruzix, who completed the lap with an invalidation, so he isn't able to get on board. We have Archie, another debutee today, with a 6th place, a 1:31.8, and Shadow and Daninator get themselves P2 and P3 right ahead of the Racing Points duo.
And it will be interesting to see if Archie will work together well with Aidenator, because obviously in most of the races this season so far, we've seen J. Cole and Aidenator being very consistent on points. They're very near each other and they've been able to help each other quite a lot. Hungary was a race that came into mind. So Archie, it's his debut. It may be a bit of pressure a little bit, but again, it is come to a point of the season where it's just for fun for people coming in. So Archie will just get a little bit of practice, possibly help his teammate a little bit, and try and get some good results to round off the season. Because if you join towards the end of the season, it can be very difficult. But at least Archie is showing some possess at the moment. He's doing very well.
Yeah, in the meantime, we had a few other drivers who got their laps invalidated. GSR isn't pushing, so even on his second attempt, he is aborting that one. Kruzix is also going slowly through that third sector. Blitzkrieg is pushing now on mode 4 of ERS. He's going to give it another crack, see how it goes this time around. In the meantime, we have Bird on the out lap. Bird hasn't had the greatest of performances since his win on his debut at Germany. DNF at Hungary, 9th at Belgium, 5th in Italy, and 6th place at Singapore, even though that Singaporean race was riddled with bad luck for the Mercedes driver. He is about to start the lap, so let's go on board with him. Let's see how it goes for the Mercedes driver, see if he can get himself back on the best form he showed earlier on the season. Gets himself up through what is officially turn 1, this right-hand king, full blast down this main straight, waiting for the 100-meter marker board, where he brakes hard down to third gear to the right and left king of turns 2 and 3, now through the very long 180 degrees corner number 4. Just has to wait for the shadow of that Rolex sign, braking just under that, down to 4th gear through the right-hander of turn 5. Now a bit of a short dash, about 70 meters away is the braking zone for turn number 6. Needs to be smooth on the power. These next few corners are similar in terms of the approach. He gets himself through turn number 8 now to the double apex left-hander of turns 9 and 10. As he approaches the end of sector number 2, now to the second DRS zone. A bit of whiplash there from the rear end of that Mercedes, as the rear tires complained a little bit to how soon he went on the throttle. Nonetheless, the car is stable on the approach to turn 14, one of the trickiest spots of this track. This off-cambered, very long left-hander of turn 15 can catch out some of the drivers, especially as the tires start wearing out towards the end of the race stints. The car seems stable through that left-right chicane, and now to turn 18 and a very similar turn 19. Let's see what he does. Just throws the car in, goes on the throttle for rotation. P3 for a Bird at the moment, Jess.
That's pretty good for the Mercedes driver. We've seen in other races that Mercedes have been very good in qualifying, but not as good in the race. Maybe they can turn it around today. I really do hope so, because once they get that together well, that's what really helps them. When we've seen Bird's performance in Germany, he was dominating. And I'm not going to jinx myself, so I'm not going to say anything more about Bird. So hopefully we'll see him back to his form in Germany pretty soon. Only time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how it goes. At least in the meantime, he's doing one of the best qualifying performances since that performance at the Hockenheim ring. In the meantime, we have Rocky, who is also a very good driver. On his debut at Italy, he achieved P3, only beaten by the Polish duo of Liman and Ipers, who have made an incredible battle for P1 and P2 through the entirety of that Grand Prix, but Rocky is currently not on the board just yet. Bringing up Italy, Andy Nater got pole, and he got for twice, because we restarted the race, he got pole, and for twice, ooh, big whiplash there from Rocky. But as I was saying, Andy Nater got pole, and twice he got the glitch where the lights go out for everybody else but him. So he didn't even get to start the Grand Prix, because everyone just went into the back of him and he was disqualified for standing on the grid marks. So, very unfortunate stuff. Still trying to find his mojo back. I haven't seen him as fast as in that Italian Grand Prix. Nonetheless, still doing P4, very respectable. 7/10 of a second, or 8 thousandths of a second away from P3. No, sorry, that's Lorman's, but then they need very close to the front row. In the meantime, Rocky completes a lap, but it gets invalidated. We have Andy Nater, I believe, just behind him, gets himself P5, P2 for Andy
Wow.
Nater, 131.0. Look at that, very, very close, exactly 500ths of a second, separating the top two. Very close stuff between them, Jess.
Yes, I think Ray is going to step up a little bit, but maybe he might turn up the notch towards the end of qualifying, because don't remember, we have 7 minutes remaining, and those of you that are new to league racing, they'll have to start on the tyre they set their fastest lap in if they start in the top, well, if they qualify in the top 10. And for everybody in the top 10, it's the soft tyres. Now, this is a track like we've seen last year in the F1 2018 game. I remember it was the Hypersofts. The Hypersofts, I think it's going to be replicated here today. It's going to last quite a bit, but not expect. It does depend on the driver's setup and skill. If your setup is good, then you can push those softs for a bit longer, going to the mediums, which is probably what most people will be trying to do today. But we'll talk about strategy as we get to the end of the qualifying.
Now, let's see how it goes. In the meantime, Kruzix splitting the racing points with a very good lap of his own, a 131.4. Ace of Spades is coming through with his Ferrari through turn number 19. Improvement of 2/10 doesn't get him a spot on the top 10, at least so far. Best driver lapping in the 132s, not enough to get him in the top 10, who is held by Entity with a 131.999 as Shadow takes provisory pole, 130.9. But it's a 918 instead of the previously held 976 as the fastest lap. Archie beats Cy Curly with a lap of 131.5, and we have a few drivers still completing their laps. Blitzkrieg just started the lap of his own. Blitzkrieg, who is showing to be a bit of a fan favorite. Superior GR is aborting his lap. But yeah, Blitzkrieg is showing to be himself a bit of a fan favorite, a bit of support for him in the chat. He who actually is one of the few drivers to hold a fastest lap in a Grand Prix this season. He did it at the British Grand Prix, which I believe was his debut, and where he got 6th place at the end of it. A very entertaining race, starting dry, ending up in the wet. We also had a very good battle for the lead in that one. And yeah, since then, unfortunately, the German driver of the Williams hasn't been able to replicate that sort of success, with only an 8th spot at Italy, 7th at Singapore, 2 11th places, and a DNF. So let's see how it goes for him, Jess.
Yeah, I hope it goes better, because we all like to see the underdog. We all want to see underdogs do well, and he hasn't set a lap time at the moment, but maybe we'll have put the cat out of the bag soon and show off a surprise. We have seen a few surprises in some races recently, where we've seen someone who we weren't expecting to win pull out the win. Haven't seen that much in PC, but we may see the surprise in PC, where we see someone that we weren't expected to dominate. That's what it is in ILR, and I'm gonna join on the fans here. I like Blitzkrieg as well, mainly because of his attitude. He doesn't give up when the going gets tough, and he still likes to race, and he wants to improve on his racecraft every week. If he's lower down the field, he thinks, right, what do I got to do to try and be better for next week? And I think that's what's gonna get him to be a good driver in the end. It just takes time.
Yeah, it does. It's also not. It's not just about being quick around the track. When you are league racing, you also have to acclimatize a bit to your rivals and know, first of all, find who are the drivers that you are going to be close to, because not everyone is at the top, and some people start spreading out the field as they have similar pace, and also getting to know them, how they drive, where do they save, where do they get aggressive, and that's also something that takes time, as Ray lowers the bar with a 130.4. What had this man had for dinner? What a lap from the Mercedes driver, blowing the competition away.
I don't for dinner, but I know what he had for breakfast. Porridge, like Bottas. You can tell he's hungry for it. Sorry, I just had to put that there.
Yeah, well, Bottas does have some decent success at this track, so I believe his first win was at this Sochi Autodrome. As Blitzkrieg is out of the session and yellow flags in sector 3, obviously we can't figure out what happened to him, but nothing good from the looks of it. He is out of the qualifying session, Jess.
I think we jinxed him, which is kind of like a commentator's curse, but hopefully he can pick himself up. Starting at the back end, Russia's not that bad because he can avoid the chaos as much as possible as well. So we've got 2 minutes remaining, and we're going to start to see everyone on their final laps at the moment. Everyone's still out on the softs, I believe. No one's opted for the mediums. I'm quite shocked about that. I thought a lot of people would go on the, few people go on the mediums. There was only one person that went on the mediums for their banker lap time. Everyone else went on the softs. Usually that's the case that it might be rain on the way, but I'm probably counting my chickens before they're hatched. I don't know.
Cryptic, really throwing it all on the board. As he crosses over the line sideways, still puts up the same lap time as the other debutee. 1:31.595 for both debutees today. Less than a thousandth of a second separating Archie and Cryptic. So close, these two. In the meantime, we have a few drivers starting their flying laps. This is the case of Black Panther. There's a lot of cars as well getting out there at the same time as they are about to just try to maximize the temperature of the track as it evolves throughout the qualifying session. So in theory, the later you lap, the better. But let's see if any one of these drivers get caught out and are not able to set a lap time. So we are going to follow Black Panther as he is about to finish a lap. Ooh, a big knock off the rear end there, and yeah, he has aborted that lap. He's going to have to give it another go later. But yeah, Black Panther got himself the best result of the season with a 4th place finish at Singapore. So it's a bit of a shame to see him down in a P15 for the moment. We do have Rocky yet to set a lap time down in 19th. We know he's definitely better than that. Ace of Spades, Entity and Kaibashimi have all started their laps. We also have, yeah, just trying to figure out who is the closest to the end of the lap. I do believe it's Ace of Spades, then both Haas, and then it's going to be Bird and some other drivers. So let's see what they do for now. But I'm not sure. Ooh, Ace of Spades goes wide, collides with the wall on the exit of turn 10, and is kind of on the racing line there. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there. But it's going to be a bit of an embarrassment for any driver getting through there if they are not able to avoid him in time. So it's going to be a bit chaotic at the end there, Jess.
Oh, Kai!
Ooh, and Kaibashimi goes into the wall as well, just like Ace of Spades did. I don't know anyone who put like a banana there, but everyone is losing grip through there. I don't know what's going on. But Kaibashimi went face first on the wall. Entity is going to wrap up his lap. Let's see what he does. The checker flag is waved to some of our drivers. Let's see if Entity can get himself in the top 10 for now, as he takes the Haas number 9 through the last corner, and it was a 1/10 improvement. I don't think that was a legal lap though. Next up is Bird in the 3rd sector. There was someone going very slowly, quite a bit of a scare, I bet. But let's see how it goes as Bird is finalizing his lap. Very tricky sequence of corners. Now he can take a bit of a breather before the double right-hander of turns 18 and 19. Ooh, a bit of a slides there as he crosses over the line. That was not an improvement, unfortunately for him. Curly and Shadow are out of the session, and Dinator is aborting his lap. Lormans, is he going for it? He is indeed. Let's see how it goes for him. We also add Rocky about to get the lap. Rocky gets P6 with the 1:31.388. Lormans just 1,000 behind. Does get a better lap, but I believe that was invalidated. 1,000 of a second.
It's not invalidated. It's not invalidated. It's valid for Lorman. So it's, you couldn't put it close to that apart from obviously the same time. But wow, they must be having a similar mood. They must be getting a lot of confidence. I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it was a good performance there, especially as it's only one of the best qualifying performances for Lormans, I believe. In the race, he has 2 podiums this season, but in terms of qualifying, I think this is one of the best performances. But yeah, Jess, do make us the honors of giving us the rundown.
Oh, I haven't done this in a long time, so here we go. The countdown is going, so I better go fast. So Ray takes pole from Shadow, Aidenator, iCurly, Bird, Rocky, Lormans, Krutix, Archie, Cryptic rounds up your top 10. Then it's JSR, Entity, Ace of Spades, Kai Pacini, Blitzkrieg, Black Panther, Corporal Carrot, Super GR, and Cisco. And I just about made it.
Yeah, it did get close in there. But yeah, that's our grade for the start of the Grand Prix. No one got penalties. And look at that, the skies are pretty threatening. Not sure if there's going to be rain, but the skies are pretty threatening indeed. In terms of the strategy, it does look, I do believe, some of the drivers are going to make a gamble and go on the softs, even outside of the top 10, because it looks like it's going to rain soon. Of course, the drivers hold most of the information, we do not. In terms of the strategy itself, according to my data, you start on the softs, pit about lap 8 to 10, and then take mediums through the rest of the race. If you start on the mediums, you can pit with about 12 laps to go, 10 laps to go, and take softs to the end. So let's see how it goes, if it's going to rain or not. But meantime, while we wait for everyone to get ready, do you have any choices for the top 3, Jess?
Oof. I'm gonna say, to like me jinxing him, but I'm going to. So I'm gonna put Jake on pole. No, Jake for the win. Sorry. Then Aidenator, and then Lormans.
Ooh, putting Lormans in his 3rd podium of the season, despite his last 2 races being a DNF. That's a bit of a bold one.
I like being bold, you know? Someone's got to be bold in this commentary box.
Oh god, okay. I've just been called out, I guess. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
there was contact though. I believe some drivers are getting teleported back to the grid, because I do believe there was contact somewhere further down the grid. But yeah, I do believe Ray is going to win, because Ray is a bit of a specialist at
yeah, I
Russia.
don't think he's gonna.
So I think he's gonna make it, and then it's going to be, and I think Animator will get P2. I think I'm not sure if Shadow will be as competitive, because I'm not sure how much he practiced, especially considering that he wasn't sure if he was taking part in that esports event or not. So yeah, I think Shadow did well to get P2, but I'm not sure he has the most practice. So I would like to see maybe Rocky or the Bird getting a place in the last step of the podium.
Yeah, because Rocky was looking very quick. He was on for, I think it was a 28 or something, I can't remember. And then he binned it. So he was looking pretty quick until that incident. So we could see Rocky climb up a few positions. Now, everyone's on the soft tyres except... So, but he's going to, if he plays it right, he could go on the soft to the end, and he'll be on fresher and softer tyres at the end of the Grand Prix. So it could work out on his favour, it could not.
Yeah,
but
it might also start raining, but not be intermediates close enough for the softs to last. And
looks
then
very dark.
It just goes for the intermediates without having to pit, unlike everybody else who started on softs. Let's see how it goes. For now, we get our drivers lined up as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Russian Grand Prix. It looks like everyone got a decent start. Cryptic already makes up a few positions up to 8th place. Shadow has gotten the lead of the Grand Prix. Ray P2 and Inator P3. Bird is trying to make it. It's going to be 4 wide now on the approach to turn number 2. Everyone behaved, sort of, and Inator makes his way up to P3. Curly P4. Bird and Rocky maintain 5th and 6th place. Very close, those two. Lorman's in P7. Cryptic also on his debut, doing a good start so far, getting a challenge there on Lorman's for P7, and he's going to have the inside line. Let's see how it goes for him. He's going to force the issue. No, he's not for the time being. He's going to behave himself behind Lorman's. And Jess, did you catch anything?
Well, we seen Ray to get the position back from Shadow. That was the only thing I saw. But Shadow, that getaway off the line, he had a good start. Oh, there's a racing point. It's off. It's Lorman's. It's Lorman's. Norman spun, so he's lost a bit of his front wing, which interestingly, I thought it was going to be his right front wing that he lost, but no, it's his left. So he's going to probably limp it into the pits. That is not what he's hoping today. His bad luck is starting to haunt him once again. We got another yellow flag. That's probably, I don't know what it is, but I think it keeps popping up for some weird reason. But yeah, Ray and Shadow having a good start. Aiden is still in 3rd place for Curly. We will probably start to see the gaps properly as we get to lap 2, because mine is still...
Yeah, there was a bit...
Still saying...
You are lagging quite a bit, Jess. I don't know if you can listen to me, but you are lagging quite a bit. I'm not sure if it is because of you or if it is because of me.
Well,
Well,
okay. Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine for now. At least you didn't cut. But yeah, in the meantime, but Kaibashimi, they are battling each other for that P11. For a while, there's contact between the two of them. They lose the rear and go both on the wall. It's race over for the Ferrari, and Kaibashimi has his front wing completely gone. Those two, we could see from a mile away how aggressive they were being towards each other. They were side by side since the last sector of the previous lap. So Waste of Spades is out, and Kaibashimi is also going to drop quite a few spots, Jess.
Yeah, that I could see it coming from a mile off that it wasn't going to end pretty. So, and yeah, another person to limit to the pits, which is a shame.
It is indeed. Well, in the meantime, Ray is starting to pull away a little bit from Shadow, just over half a second. The gap between the Mercedes and the Renault. Curly is putting the pressure on Andy Nater. Andy Nater has lost out a second to Shadow, so that might be important on his defense for the top 3, especially as DRS starts being available. Cryptic getting Cruisix right on his gearbox as well, so a lot of pressure coming from that side of things as well. Shadow gets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so he's not too keen on letting Ray get away just yet.
No, he is not. He's not giving up, and he's one of those person that may want to wait under pressure as well. But meanwhile, Rocky's looking very racy between Curly as well, so this can get very, very fighty between the both of them. This is the first time I've seen Rocky race, and he's doing quite well. He's usually a person that gains quite positions. Cryptic has gained a position on Fruits is there as well, so him up into 7, so he's had a good start as well. Can Fruits try to get the outside? No, he doesn't. He sticks a little bit. He gets a better exit though. From Cryptic as he tries to get past him there, but I think Cryptic is going to have DRS. So surely no, not yet. It's in the next. I'm losing track of corners, but yeah.
Don't worry, Cryptic though lost out 2 places. He was battling out with Cruisix, and he ended up also losing a place to Archie. Now he misses the braking zone. Almost went into the back of that McLaren. That's going to give a license for JSR to say thank you very much. I'm just going to try to take the position from you. The Alfa Romeo has the slipstream from the 2 cars ahead of them who are on a battle of their own. It's going to be Archie and Cruisix side by side each other down into turn 14. Archie gets away with it. JSR also overtakes the other debutee and makes it up to a P10 before getting the answer from the Renault, who's not backing down just yet. They go side by side into the chicane, and great defensive maneuver from the reserve driver, getting himself up to P9. So very well done from him. It might be all gone though by the end of these straight. Kruzix is also very close to Archie. We also have his teammate Rocky very close to Bird. Ray got overtaken by Shadow. It's going to be lots of battles right now into this first corner, as we do have the swap of places between Rocky and Bird. They are still getting very close side by side all the way through turn 4. Let's see as the both trajectories merge on the approach to turn number 5. Rocky, is he braver on the brakes? He's not necessarily braver on the brakes. He did have the inside line. Bird has to concede that one. Up to P5 goes the Hungarian.
Yes, Rocky is a superstar. He's showing why he deserves to be in ILR. He's doing very well, but he's got to make sure he can keep up to the pressure to Burr right now, which he's still trying to do. But knowing him, he can defend quite well because he wants his podium so bad. He had a podium in Italy, and he wants a podium here today as well. Meanwhile, Blitzvik has got past Super GR, and he's up into 5th, 13th place, and he's now challenging Black Panther for P12. Now, due to the accident, we've got Cisco that's on the mediums. We've got Corporal, and we've got Lawman's on the hards, and we've got Kai Pacini on the hards. So those three, they had to make a pit stop due to their unfortunate incident that happened earlier on in the race. Well, multiple incidents actually. Not all three of them involved at once, but they were all involved in incidents anyway, as I was trying to say. So hards realistically can get to the end, but it is going to be hard. But they may snatch the fastest lap point if they want to go on the softs at the end, but we don't know. But it is going to be a difficult race for the ones that just pitted onto those hard tyres.
Exactly. In the meantime, Ray was too far away to try to take the fight to Shadow as Rocky and Bird go wide, as I believe there was contact from Bird. Kruzix is going to say thank you very much, going to overtake all of them, going to make his way up to P5. Archie in the back of all of these as Prime sit in the house to try to take something out of this situation. He does get a penalty out of this, unfortunately for him. I'm pretty sure that wasn't exactly what he was expecting. Bird and Rocky have contact once again. Damage in the front wing of the Mercedes. Rocky getting a bit feisty there with Bird. Both of them getting their elbows out. Not necessarily the most clean of actions, and that allows Kruzix to pull away, Jess.
Yeah, Cruz is doing very well. I'm just going to see who the biggest gainers and the biggest losers are out of all this. Cruz has gained 3 positions, so he's done quite well. Another people that have gained quite a lot. Blitzrig, Black Panther, Corporal Carrot, they've gained 3. Even though Super GR is in 16th, he's gained 2. Obviously, Shadow has gained 1. Archie's gained 1. Cryptic has gained 1. JSR has gained 1. And Cryptic and JSR are going for it. And we also got Archie as well going on for Bird. There's so much battles happening all over the place. I don't think it will be that long before we see as many battles as we can. We do see a few people going into the pits. Bird is going into the pits. Oh no, Bird's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to cost him dearly. Cryptic is going to be like, thank you very much. It's going to help him with the overcut later on. Ray's still behind Shadow, but unfortunately, he stays behind him for now. Not much change otherwise, but JSR is going to look for another move past Cryptic. Can he do it this time? Yes, he can. The Alfa Romeo driver, the reserve driver, is now up into 8th place, Raceberg.
Yes, exactly. Cryptic tried his best. He was able to resist the charge down into turn 14, but now this is a bit longer of a straight, and JSR was closer. The Norwegian driver wasn't able to maintain his 8th place. Entity is just lurking on the background, trying to take the best out of this situation, just going to try to save his resources, keep on getting the RS and the slipstream, and maybe let his opponents tire themselves out, and hopefully he's going to be able to climb some positions when he sees fit. A bit of a squirmy rear end though coming out of turn number 11, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have things under control for a few more laps. The tires do deteriorate quickly, but I do believe, especially as these I believe were brand new softs, is going to have a bit more of grip in them. In the meantime, Ray is maintaining the gap to Shadow. Shadow is pushing, is giving his best to try to pull away, but Shadow is doing a magnificent management of the ERS especially considering Ray keeps on getting DRS and Slipstream right behind him. Shadow actually has just a very slight deficit to Ray, which I wouldn't expect coming into this situation to happen. So very well done from Shadow for now to survive the charge of the Spaniard.
Yeah, I don't know why Shadow is struggling, to be honest. Maybe his tyres are not up to scratch at the moment, but maybe Ray's trying to save a little bit. But these are the times, well, this is the time where the softs do start to die out. So maybe he just wants to make sure he doesn't go full out completely, because he doesn't want to lose enough time and then end up getting a puncture or something. So he's being a bit cautious, I think, but I don't think it's going to matter because Ray's got a 3-second time penalty. So that is probably going to help Shadow more than Ray at the moment. And it is getting tricky for these drivers. I do see people on the softs weaving a little bit more than intended. Maybe are struggling with those soft tyres, and it could be the right time to pit very, very soon, as Normand is making up for lost time. He's fighting Biz way back up the field. He's got past Black Panther. He's up into P14. Cryptic is in a battle with JSR pretty much for the last few laps. He's going to go for it again. Is he going to try and hold off his line on the left-hand side, coming towards this latter half of the lap then, as he goes to the right-hand side? Can he cover it, though? I think he can. He's got the Haas of Entity not that far behind. Entity taking a similar line as well. Entity could look at this as an opportunity to conquer if either of those two make mistakes. Those two stay out, so does Entity. So going through to the start-finish straight, then what could Cryptic do? Cryptic has got DRS. He's on overtake mode. He means business. He's got to get the move past JSR. JSR doesn't have DRS, and Cryptic just says, thank you very much. What a decent pass from Cryptic, but obviously JSR is going to get DRS on the next DRS straight, Raceberg.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one. Those two are going to be going back and forth for a while. They do seem to have similar pace. Cryptic, though, showing great signs of at least very clean racing. We've seen more experienced drivers in this race have a bit more of a carbon fiber. I forgot the word for it. Never mind. So we've had a few of the drivers that are more experienced get a bit argy-bargy there, but Cryptic getting past JSR and vice versa in a very clean manner. So despite being a rookie in the league, despite being his first race in ILR, he's showing signs of a great racing so far. His other debutee, not too far up the road, only 3 seconds, putting the pressure on Rocky. So we know how good Rocky is. He got himself a P3 on his debut at Monza, and Archie, another debutee, is putting the pressure on him. So in terms of the debutee battle, the McLaren is taking advantage, and he might get himself a top 5 if any of the rivals ahead of him do any mistakes.
It's that early on in the race, but Archie's a person who could do it. He's got nothing to lose. He's just going out there to have some fun, see what he could do to improve on his racecraft, which is, I think, is important as well. So if Archie stays where he is now, excuse me, can you talk for a minute, please?
Okay. Well, in the meantime, this is getting pretty weird because IndyILR is shown as 1 lap. I'm going to go to the leader, and no, it's just always shown as 1 lap behind, which obviously is not the case, so we can't quite gauge the difference between IndyILR and Curly, or IndyILR to the top 2, which is a bit of a shame. Curly has had the pressure from Kruzix at the beginning of this lap. Meantime, it looks like Kruzix is nursing at about 7/10 gap for the time being. Ray is getting very close to Shadow. Doesn't look like it's close enough. He actually brought it down to mode 0 of ERS. Kruzix is going to do the same. Curly is far away enough to not pose a threat to IndyILR. So the ERS is not available for the Racing Point. It is for the Red Bull. In the meantime, Archie is also 3 tenths away from the other Red Bull of Rocky, not pulling the trigger on him just yet. And JSR comes out of the pits on fresh mediums. In 13th place, he has a bit of clean air around him, and he might be looking to put an undercut on Cryptic Chess.
Yeah, but we've got more people going into the pits as well. We've got Shadow, we've got Aidenator. we got Rocky. So those were near each other anyway. Ray hoping to do the overcut on Shadow. Shadow hoping to do the undercut. Well, it does depend on how your first lap on the next lap. A lot of tires goes on this track because it is a bit of hit and miss. But usually the undercuts work. So maybe Shadow might have timed this quite well. It does depend also if Ray does get holed up, or if Shadow gets holed up in traffic. He's got some clean air as well, so he's absolutely fine. Let's just see what the other Aiden is 2 seconds behind, and we got Curly and Rocky. So they come in much cleaner. Well, they're in cleaner air, but they're on the same lap, same strategy, so it's not going to affect them that much. But JSR has got Bird as well to contend with coming up soon, but he's going to be on fresher tyres, obviously. And Shadow is going to hope that Ray is going to get caught up, but I doubt Ray will get caught up. So Shadow needs to pull off some sensational lap times if he wants to try and make this undercut work.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Ray, he might have been saving his tires, because I do rate Shadow as a very good driver, but I think Ray, being a bit of a Russia specialist, I think he had a little bit left to try to make the overcut work. He did get an half a second quicker lap than everybody else in qualifying, so if he has that one of those laps up his sleeve as he's about to get into the pits for set mediums. Ooh, he does get a lap for Cruisix, and that can be crucial. Let's see how it goes. Cryptic carries on, inherits the lead, and it's going to be very close between Shadow and the Mercedes. He does get held up by the Red Bull of Cruisix as Archie and Entity also going to the pits. Where is Ray? Where is the Renault? Let's see how it goes, and Ray is jumped, and it's going to be a big margin now. Endinator is also going to jump the Spaniard, and look at that, Endinator jumped Curly, keep himself, extends the lead to Curly. Ray slots into P4, Cruisix still behind the racing point, very close to him for that matter, and Rocky 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds behind his teammate.
So the only two people that the undercut hasn't worked for was Curly and Rocky. Everybody else that pitted a lap earlier, they made it work. Shadow, Aidenator, they played it absolutely brilliant. Both of them managing to get ahead of Ray. Well, Aidenator, the biggest surprise and the biggest impressive move that he was able to go to the pits at the same time, and he wasn't going to let that phase him with Ray. So great stuff for him, but Ray is going to start to catch on him pretty soon, so it is not over yet. He's not out of the woods yet, so he's got to make sure that he can keep Ray behind him. Don't forget, it is still quite a long way to go in this race, and it's not over yet until the checker flag falls.
Exactly. The clouds are still a looming threat over this Sochi Autodrome. It hasn't started to rain, but it can start soon. Let's see how that one goes, even though the drivers went on to the mediums, so maybe the chance of rain is supposed to not be very high. Let's see how it goes though, as Cryptic finally gets into the pits. He was in the battle with JSR, so let's see where he comes out at. Ray of course gets himself the place, Endinator as well. Ray is he going to challenge Endinator? Endinator pulls to the inside. It's going to be a lunge there from Ray. There's contact between both of them. Ray gets forced wide, he has to catch the oversteer. He comes back into the track, there's contact, and he's in a wall. Ray finishes himself in a wall. Not race ending damage, but he surely has to go back into the pits to replace that one. Archie gets past him. So similar fates for both Mercedes today, Jess. Both of them having contact while racing other drivers. I do think Ray could have left more time or more space on the outside. He came sort of sideways back into the track. Pretty sure Endinator was still there, but a bit of a lapse in judgment from Ray, and that cost him dearly.
Ray, he was doing so well, and then this happened. Ray.
yeah, he's out in frustration, bins
But
it.
he's hit the win.
Yep, it puts it in the wall, unfortunately. Oh, there's also an end plate from a Renault. A Renault just hit the wall. That was Cryptic. He comes out of the pits very close to JSR, but it just got wing damage. Not sure what happened there, but there is wing damage. That could bring out the safety car though. That's DNF from Ray. And
No.
no, doesn't look like it for the time being. Kruzix, in the meantime, is trying to get himself a spot on the podium. He went with his wheels on the grass, almost found himself on the pit wall. Even though he's going to get a good enough of a run to get closer to Curly than he was before. Not close enough to pull the trigger on it just yet. But yeah, pretty big shame to see Ray Ray's race end like this.
Yeah, it is a shame. But it happens. I think he's known for the one who does well in qualifying, but does absolutely. He's got to focus on the next race, and I know he's good at Japan, so I have faith in him. So hopefully he could do well there. But we're on lap 13, so we're pretty much almost halfway to this race. We're about, I think, a half a lap to go before we're halfway through into this race. As Kruzix is looking very racy behind ILRGT at the moment. He's just looking to find his time. He's got enough ERS to try and push as much as he can, so he's not going to push yet. He's going to try and go for it when he sees fit. He doesn't see fit at the moment, but ILRGT has... Oh my God, ILRGT has less ERS than him. So if someone could take the advantage here, it's going to be Kruzix. He can bump that all the way up and start to push. But again, the CRS has obviously got to last for most of this race, so he's got to try and save as much as he can too. But yeah, I'm still quite surprised he's not using as much ERS as he would have liked. But there we go. It happens.
Yeah, Corporal Carrot in the meantime lost out to a Cryptic who has damage on his front wing. Corporal Carrot started on the mediums and is on his 12th lap on those, so he is losing out on pace even to a Cryptic with damage on his car. JSR though has started to pull away. The gap is already 1.7 seconds, so looks like JSR got the finishing blow on that battle. In the meantime, Bird and Archie are coming to blows. Bird is going to try to get a better exit. Yes, he does. A bit of a squirmy rear end though, and Archie is going to be forced to take the outside. Let's see how it goes as he's getting himself a bit of a straightened up exit. He did allow himself to straighten up the exit before Bird, but not close enough to try to get back to P6. So he's going to have to stay put for the time being. He's going to continue though to put the pressure on Bird. That's 5 laps of a difference in utilization for the medium sets of tires that are in both the McLaren to the ones in the Mercedes. So it can get pretty feisty between both of them. Let's see how it goes. Arch is going to come again. DRS, mode 4 of DRS and the slipstream, and without many issues he's getting himself up to 6th place.
I think Bird didn't want to challenge that. He didn't want to be in exactly the same position as his teammate did earlier. He wants to focus on this race. He wants to focus on finishing and getting some decent haul of points for the Mercedes team, because I think he's the only Mercedes driver to is going to hopefully score points today. So he's done the right thing there, and he's probably going to challenge it when he sees fit and not go for anything too aggressive. So, but Archie, he made that look easy, didn't he? On his debut, he's 6th already. He's just insane at the moment. He's just having a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, he is taking advantage of some of his rivals' mistakes, but yeah, that is also a skill to not make mistakes, right? And Archie is showing very clean racing, just like Cryptic, both of them in the top 10. So despite Cryptic losing pace due to his front wing damage, very solid race from both of them.
Yeah, I agree. We're on lap 15 of 27 right now. Shadow still leads from Aidenator in P2, ILRGT in P4. The gaps are still starting to tumble for some of the drivers. Lormond is making his way up through the field again as we've got him getting more time penalties going left, right and centre, but for some of them it's probably not going to affect as much because they're at the back of the field. Obviously, Super GR has got one as well, so I think he's on his first one, I believe, but it's hard to keep track on penalties. I will do that in a minute. But Lorman's, even after that incident he's had earlier, I'm very impressed that he's 13th and he's still managing to battle Black Panther even on those hard tyres. But meanwhile, let's jump on with another battle for Archie again. Bird, I think, caught Archie napping for a moment there. Is Archie going to fight back? Yes, he does. Archie is back into 6th place. Bird with a beautiful comeback. Archie with a great switch back to try and gain a position that was meant to be for him. And yeah, Archie with a brilliant attack. He's got P6 back from Bird, Racebug.
Exactly. In the meantime, Blitzkrieg, Black Panthers, Blitzkrieg and Black Panther swap positions, as I think that was the result of maybe contact with Lormans, because Lormans was battling Black Panther. That might be the aftermath of maybe contact between the Racing Point and the Alfa Romeo. In the meantime, Bird is going to pinch Archie to the inside of turn number 4. A bit of a touch as well from the front. From the rear Mercedes to the front tires of the McLaren.
Look at Archie!
But he does get what an amazing run out of turn 5. Claims back P6. What a battle this is turning out to be, Jess.
They're going to end up switching positions for most of this last stint. Archie, absolutely amazing. He's not letting Bird get P6 that easily. He's like, no thank you. You have to work for it. And Bird is working for it, and Archie is as well. He's putting on a great show. I know I'm saying good things about it, but it's true. I think respect to Bird as well for challenging Archie as well. They're both going to go side by side once again. This may not end well if they touch, but they're keeping it together. Look. Oh no!
That it goes round. Bird
I
goes
spoke
round.
too soon. I spoke too soon, Racebug. Right, I'm not saying anything more about that.
Oh, look at that. Archie let Bird through. Archie realized that he made a mistake. Fortunately, Bird doesn't seem to have damage from that one, fortunately for him. But Entity says, thank you very much, jumps up to P6. Entity getting himself a possibility of his best result since Hungary, which was the last race he took a part of. Then he wasn't able to show up for 3 straight races, and he's back better than when he left. So he's doing his best. Actually, is matching his second best result. He got P6 at Bahrain, and since then he hasn't been able to match that. Of course, his best result is a 3rd place at Australia, but then he got 6th place. Wasn't able to get back to the top 5 or even close to it for since then, and now he's back to P6. So if anyone in top 5 does make a considerably big mistake, Entity might be getting for the 2nd time of the season on the top 5 at the end of the race.
Yeah, Haas is 8 in the Constructors' Championship at the moment with 61 points. Hopefully, Entity could keep at that position so they can climb up just a little bit. They're not that far behind Mercedes, so if Entity scores and he's ahead of Bird, then he's going to close up just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And any battle in the Constructors' Championship, it is hungry for it. Haas doesn't want to finish ahead behind Mercedes. They want to finish ahead of them. So cause everyone else of the rivals are way ahead of them. So they're just having their own battle in the midfield, 7th and 8th in the championship. So that's what Entity is trying to do at least. And yeah, and good on Archie for realising his mistake, and because it takes guts for a driver to say, look, I messed up, you can go through, carry with your race, because I don't think some drivers do that, but it just goes to show that Archie is learning quite early, which is good, because if you learn to do that earlier on, then that sets you up to be a good racer
in the future. Yeah, exactly. Well, Archie is dropping out a little bit to Bird, who has caught up to Entity. Even though Archie has an ERS advantage over the Mercedes, he's not really using it at the moment. So let's see how that one goes. Maybe it's just letting Bird catch up to Entity and let them fight each other, and Archie not using too much of his resources to catch up with those two, just waiting for them to naturally, due to fighting, coming to his way. So we might have a 3-way battle for P6, spicing up this battle for sure. In the meantime, Shadow has been able to maintain a 2.8 second gap to the front, but looking at Bird once again, no, he's too far away to make the overtake stick. Currently in P3, 2 seconds away about from Andy Nater. So the top 4, top 5 even, a bit sitting still at the moment, not going anywhere for the time being, unless there's a big mistake. Entity having a big compromise of turn 17. Bird almost smacked into the back of him. due to the difference of speed. And Archie and Entity are going to have a very big run at Entity on the run down into turn 1. Bird chooses the outside of turn 1.
Oh!
There's contact with Entity, comes across to Archie, and I'm not sure if there's...
That's a massive shunt.
Yeah, Bird stops his car, and I don't think he realizes that Entity is out. Yeah, he didn't realize Entity was out. But yeah, it just came across the track. The Haas was...
a heart attack.
Yeah, Entity, and now it's just trying to retire, I guess. I'm not sure. Yeah, it just retired, even though it might become a bit of an inconvenience. Please.
Oh, he needs to move out of the way. He's got to move out of the way.
Yeah, that was the best AI
he's out,
I've ever seen.
Out.
Yeah, he's out. So Blitzkrieg, after all his issues, back to P10. Lormans, after his spin early on, back to the points, Jess. And Archie, I don't think, very luckily, he didn't get damage from all that.
That was lucky from Archie, but that was very weird to see what happened, to be honest, because I don't think anyone... I think it kind of reminded me of Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc in Brazil, where they were both trying to get ahead of each other, and then boom, it just ended up in an instant. But luckily, it did result in a puncture for Archie at all, so he's still in this race either way. But I think Archie will be apologising, I think, about that, because he might think it's his fault, but then Entity might think it's not his fault. I don't know, but they'll probably be discussing it after the race. I wouldn't want to be in their driver's feet. But yeah, speaking of Lormans is avoiding the trouble. Maybe having that instant early on is just helping him bide his time, and he's going to get some points anyway. It may not be where he wanted to be at the start of this race, but he is going to help his team in the constructors, and that's going to put him on the right foot again. So great comeback for Lormans. And I think as we get towards the latter half of the race, the gaps are starting to increase a little bit.
Exactly. In the meantime, getting back to the incident, it was Bird. I believe Bird was just trying to squeeze Entity to the inside wall so that Entity didn't have the greatest angle of attack to turn 1, and for Bird to be able to get the more speed through that corner. But it just came too quickly. It was just too harsh of a direction change. Ends up slamming into Entity, who then, with all the momentum and the contact system in this game, just sent him into the wall. Nothing he could have done to avoid that one. And Archie getting very, very lucky to come out of this without any sort of damage. Taking a look further up the order, Shadow is looking on his way to extend the championship lead. He has about 100 points, 104, I believe, point gap over second place Kruzix, who is not in the podium for the time being. So Shadow is looking to extend that one quite a bit and make sure he gets a good chance to wrap things up in the next race at Suzuka. So let's see how that one goes. Looks like the field has spread out a little bit. So I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you, Jess, who do you think has impressed you the most in both a positive and a negative way today?
Well, hard one, but I think I must say Critic doing well, Archie doing well, admitting to his mistakes, and I think Archie, alone with his battles with Bird, was pretty decent before that incident. Rocky doing quite well as well, and obviously Shadow managing to maintain the lead, and people doubted him that he was going to win today, but he might be on the case of doing that, touch wood. And Corporal Cat has been under the radar recently, but he's minding his own time. He's avoiding the carnage as well. He's gained 6 positions. But I must say, the two Mert drivers, I think, have been a letdown. I think went a bit too aggressive, I think, and that's costed their races, unfortunately. But it happens. But a lot of good drivers today, and the ones that are still going, they're still managing to fight back and still see if they can try and get some element into this race.
Yeah, exactly. Both Corporal Carrot and Kaiboshima, well, everyone from 11th below have pitted for a second set of softs. Corporal Carrot 18 seconds away from Blitzkrieg. I'm not sure. Yes, Kaiboshimi right behind him. Not sure if they're going to lose time battling each other. or if Corporal Carrot will start to make some inroads of the gap that separates him from the last of the points paying positions. Kaiboshimi is looking at that P11 for now. He's going to take the outside approach. Not much space given to the inside there, forcing Corporal Carrot to cut the corner. It's going to be a traction battle now coming out of turn number 15 into turn 16 and 17, squeezing the Torokosu to the inside. The wall is very close to the outside of the as number 14. Corporal Carrot does maintain P11, very nicely defended from aim, but now Kaiboshimi is going to use the DRS. Corporal Carrot did get a much better exit out of corner number 19 as we're about to start lap number 22. Kaiboshimi is going to take the slipstream, the ERS as well, slips past Corporal Carrot, who cannot battle anymore. He cannot respond to the boost in top speed that comes from the drag reduction system. Kaiboshimi claims 11th place.
Yeah, one more place and then he would get a point, but he's a bit too further back from a Blitzkrieg. So at best he's going to be P11, P12, and he's no one is going to get a point for fastest lap because you have to be inside the top 10, and obviously the one who's got the fastest lap at the moment so far in this Grand Prix is Kaiboshimi. He's P11, so as I don't think anyone inside the top 10 is going to go for the soft compound. So it looks like the fastest lap may stay from someone outside the top 10, which could be a very interesting game to help, because a point could make a difference. And if there's no fastest lap point today, then you know, it may make a difference between the championship standings. It will help Shadow anyway, because he's not going to worry about someone gaining an extra point. He's probably hoping to get it himself, but Aidenator's gained quite a bit of time on Shadow though, so he's not giving up. 4 more laps to go. Is it too little too late for Aidenator? iCurly not that far as well, so I will check penalties in a second. But the race win could be not far from over.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. J. Cole, in the meantime, in chat, asks if Shadow doesn't win the championship today. No, he does not. I did the math. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's not about Lehman, because second place in the championship is actually Kruzix. So, even if Kruzix didn't attend today, and Shadow got full 26 points, the gap would be 130 points with 130 points to spare, so they could still tie each other up at the end of the championship. So it is not
Shadow's on
mathematically
243
points. It's not wrapped up just yet. It might become wrapped up at
next week
at Suzuka, yes, next week, but not for now. But yeah, I was just about to point out what you did about Andy-Nator. iCurly, like, from 1 to P2 and P2 to P3 is exactly the same gap, which is quite
look
amusing.
at that!
It's quite
It is
amusing.
confusing.
It is exactly the same gap, and it's
was.
going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see, because Andy-Nator, maybe Shadow is just saving fuel, maybe saving his resources to defend, but I'm pretty sure Shadow is the kind of guy to not push if he has the means to do so. So maybe Andy-Nator is just more comfortable on this latter stage of the Grand Prix, and he might have some spiciness for the top 3 with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Aidenator does have a penalty though. Shadow got no penalties, so if it stays as it is, Shadow will have a comfortable win anyway. So Aidenator's going to hope Shadow does not get any penalties. I think Aidenator served his 5-second stop go earlier on, and he's got 2 penalties. I'm just seeing what iCurly's got. Whoa, iCurly's got a lot of penalties. I'm not gonna get 5 penalties, but I don't know how long it is. Kruzix, he's got 4 penalties. Rocky, he's got 2. So I think out of the top 5, Shadow's the only one without a penalty.
Well, that just shows how consistent and how disciplined is racecraft, as we have Lormans and Cryptic coming to blows. Let's not forget Cryptic is still nursing that damage on the left side of his front wing. Lorman zooms past and gains another position. Let's see if Cryptic is able to respond. J. Cole was saying that the gap, for some reason, ILR's stats say that the gap is 106 points. For me, on my Google Sheets, it's just 104 points. So I'm not sure who's correct.
They may not take into account penalties. The ILR site is always correct.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I have something wrong somewhere. I don't know. But, well, nonetheless, Cryptic tries to take it back at Lormans and is able to do so. Moves up to P8. And Cryptic, I believe this is the third different driver. He is in contention weight, in a one-on-one contention weight. Lormans does have the ability to navigate better through the corners, those that are the fastest corners, due to his but to his superior aerodynamical support from all the aerodynamical bits on his car that are not missing, which is not the case of Cryptic, as he goes wide there to turn 10, unfortunately. And Lormans, despite having 8 lap older tires, also hard tires, so they degrade a little bit less. So in terms of the percentage of tire wear, I would say they are approximately the same. Lormans does take the slipstream, does take the DRS, going to take the approach on the outside of turn 14. The Renault isn't backing down, it's going to take the inside of turn 15. That's going to be very, very close. Traction battle once again. Let's see whose tires are in best shape. Looks like it's Lormans getting the power down faster than Cryptic. And the Racing Point jumps back up. Rocky and Curly have a moment. Curly spins.
Yeah, Rocky and Curly were having a very good battle up until that point. Sorry, let me just get close to my mic. And I think Curly just had a bit of a mistake there. He just let the pressure got to him, and he still managed to keep it on the track. I don't think he's got damage though, but that's really hurt his chance of getting P4 in this race. But it might change due to penalties, but that almost ended in a shunt, so thank goodness it didn't. So, yeah, no damage.
Yeah, let's see how that one goes. Of course, they got all three of them 6 seconds away from each other, from third to sixth. So, and Andy Nater also lost out slightly to Shadow on this last lap. Cryptic, nursing his damage, lost out a couple tenths of a second to Lormans. He nurses a gap of 6 tenths, now 7 tenths, so it's going to be difficult for him to overtake the Racing Point as well. As we are in the last lap of the Grand Prix, Shadow just started. It is catching up to the Ferrari of Cisco, who just came out of the pits with brand new softs. Not sure if he went there because of the tires worn out, or if he just went into a wall somewhere, unfortunately for the Portuguese. But he just got lapped. Ooh, Shadow having a big tank slapper coming out of turn number 5. And he could have taken it all away. He could have thrown it all away right there and then. Managed to keep the car under control, the number 57. And he is on his merry way. Did everything well, got a great start. Jumped Ray on the start. Then he got re-overtaken by the Mercedes, but then he kept himself clean. Ray got himself not the greatest of fates. Shadow was able to pick up the pieces from that, never looked back since he got pole, sorry, not pole, but P1, and he is already in the third sector. Just taking a look at Cryptic, who's very close to Lormans at this point, but not exactly enough to overtake just yet. But there you have it, Shadow just navigating this third sector for the 27th time. Just has 2 corners to go. And there you have it. It's going to be win number 4 of the season for Shadow. He crosses the line to take home the win of the Russian Grand Prix. Andy Nater also does a celebratory spin. I'm pretty sure that was on purpose. Crucix also does P3.
That gave me a heart attack.
Rocky is going to get P4. Now let's see how the penalties play out. Half a second separating Crucix from Rocky. Curly is going to get himself through the line in P5. Archie looks like he's going to get P6 as Cryptic reaches the DRS zone too far behind to contest Lormans. Archie is going to benefit. He does benefit. How many penalties did Curly have? Archie
let me check.
P5.
Curly had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my god, Curly has 7 penalties.
JSR got past Curly. Lormans, I'm pretty sure he's too far behind now. But look at that, wow. Curly gets brought down to P7. Lorman's P8. Cryptic would also a nice debut. Nursing damage to still old P9. And Blitzkrieg crosses over the line in P10. Also a solid drive from the Williams car. So after that we have Kaibashimi. And what a race, guy. It was a bit... well,
it was argy-bargy.
Yeah, it didn't have the greatest of fights for the lead, but there were pockets of drivers in the midfield who certainly made this interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I was almost 100% on my prediction. The only person I didn't get right was Norman's. So, interesting fact actually, this track was where Shadow got his first ILR win ever on PS4 in Season 4. So, it's taking him back to old roots, I must say. Good memories. So, yeah, this was he took the lead on the last few corners last time, whereas this race he's dominated. So, he had it a bit easier this race compared to his maiden win in ILR, but interesting fact there.
Yeah, it is indeed. He gets to taste the sweet champagne once again. At the Saki Autodrome, as is this time around joined by Kruzix, I believe that was, yeah, Kruzix and Andy Nater, I believe, yes, Andy Nater gets P2 and Kruzix P3. Only driver in the field to not claim any penalties to his name. That's how consistent and how disciplined Shadow was. Andy Nater with 4 penalties, Kruzix 4 penalties. What have these guys been doing with all those penalties? But yeah, there you have it. Any final words about this race, Jess?
Well, if they say they can't overtake if the race is boring for Russia, it completely wasn't. Even though it was argy-bargy, it was brilliant. But drive of the day, I think I'm torn between Shadow, Rocky, and I would have to say JSR. JSR's now in 6th now. He's benefited for those penalties. So I'm torn between those 3. Now, it's Japan next week. I'm not going to be here because I've got a show, but it's a driver favourite, and a fan favourite, so I know it's going to be a great track. It's going to be half of people that are not on the wheel, but there'll be some people that are going to be up for the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a very fun track, Suzuki. It does allow... It is a bit better in the online version, in the virtual version, than in real life. Usually, not many sports to overtake apart from turn 1, but drivers do tend to seem a bit more aggressive in league racing. So let's see how that one goes, especially as it is Japan. It does rain quite a bit on that time of year, so let's see how that one goes. As this is it for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. It's the icon for any notifications of whenever we are about to start a live stream or to post a video. Hope to see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.